So ESG involves economic, environmental, social, and governance impacts, and this covers risks and opportunities from business operations. So ESG has got quite a lot of benefits. If you implement it as part of your business strategy and business model, it normally results in a reduction in costs and also improvement in profits, improved brand reputation, and also building a very strong competitive advantage.
In Zimbabwe, where are we in this journey?
Okay, as Zimbabwe, you find that we are actually at the start of the journey. We have got some companies that have moved very strongly with their ESG implementation in a very good way by ensuring that it's actually part and parcel of their business strategy. But we still have some way to go because the number of companies that have actually embodied ESG is still very low. So we still need to actually cover quite some ground.
And in Africa, where do we rank in terms of ESG?
In terms of ESG, from a reporting perspective, we are amongst the top 5. That is following the likes of South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya, Morocco. So we are actually among the top 5 in Africa.
Okay, and what are the major benefits or some of the benefits of practicing ESG?
Right, so at a national level, one of the key major benefits is attracting foreign direct investment, particularly sustainable foreign direct investment. What we have tended to note in Africa is that the leading countries when it comes to ESG, the likes of Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, are also the same countries that are actually attracting the bulk of foreign direct investment in Africa, because ESG tend to reflect the level of risk a country or a company may be associated with.
Okay, in terms of legal framework, where are we as Zimbabwe?
In terms of the legal framework, I think Zimbabwe is amongst the top countries in Africa where we have got a direct legal instrument that regulate ESG or sustainability. And for the private sector, this is where we have a statutory instrument 134 of 2019. Then for the public sector, we have got the Public Entities Corporate Governance Entities Act 1031.
Okay, it seems that ESG is a trend that the local or many international companies are now following. What are some of the negative implications of not following this trend?
The negative implications is that you tend to lose out on responsible investors. You also tend to find yourself being charged high interest rates when you actually borrow, even at a national level or even at a company level. Okay. Because the ESG factor is used when it comes to determining the level of interest rate that a company or a country may actually be charged. So you find this, for example, the World Bank, IMF, they actually have ESG criteria for evaluating before they actually lend to a country. And that's the same applies with international financial institutions as well. If they wish to lend to companies, they also do ESG screening before they actually lend. If the risk is high, if they decide to continue to lend, you find that the interest rate tend to be higher so that they cover themselves for the ESG risks.
Okay, it's quite an unknown subject at the moment. How far are we going in terms of capacity building?
There's still quite a lot that need to be done, particularly in Zimbabwe, in terms of developing capacity. One, capacity within companies, then also capacity at a leadership level, that is actually at board level. Then also capacity even within the public sector entities. There is still quite a lot to be done in terms of developing capacity. But beyond that, there's still also a lot of awareness that need to be raised within tertiary institutions like your universities and also high schools as well, so that we build this along the value chain of learning.
Okay, we've heard that ESG practices is impacting on pricing. Can you elaborate on that, especially for a country like us, which is mainly a producer of raw materials?
Yeah, ESG has got an effect in terms of product pricing. So because of our practice in Zimbabwe, which is still low, you find that our products and services have tended to be very high in terms of pricing within the region if you compare with their products being manufactured in South Africa. Because ESG issues, as you manage them, they will lower your cost of production. But if you are not managing them effectively, that cost is actually built upon your product. And in the end, it can become very expensive.
Okay. Any word of advice for companies that are not yet following this subject?
My word of advice for companies is that sustainability is actually one of the biggest competitive advantage you can build. It is also one of the economic opportunities at this time. So if you are not, if it is not part of how you are actually running your company, you are likely to find yourself being made irrelevant when it comes to competition, because the leading brands and competitive businesses, they are actually competing on sustainability or ESG aspects.